What in the heckity heck makes modern Resident Evil games so scary? Oh my god, wait. This is arguably the most famous setting in the franchise, the Raccoon City Police Department. This modern version first appeared in RE2, then in RE3, and today in the newly released Requiem. See, there's just something about it that's very, very good at its job, scaring the living daylights out of. But minus jump scares, how exactly do these games manage to make every minute feel like a waking nightmare? It's all in the lighting, baby. Whenever I entered a dark hallway, I would quiver like I was in the Arctic Ocean. But as soon as I made it back to the main hall with its warm, bright, beautiful lights, I'd see my homie Marvin there, rest in peace Marvin, and instantly I'd feel the tension release, and I'd literally want to tear up. Unfurl the layers and it's even clearer. I mean, this and this paint completely different stories. So how exactly is the incredibly powerful lighting in modern Resident Evil games made? To figure it out, I scoured through Japanese magazine articles of the developers, 3 research papers, annual reports to investors. Heck, I even watched their Open Conference 2019 through my phone's Google Translate, and their 2023 Open Conference Professional. I did not need to know they use Microsoft Teams, but now I do, and you do too! But in a nutshell, the spooktastic lighting is powered by a custom in-house game engine called the RE Engine, which utilizes 3 methods: light probes, ray tracing, and path tracing. One thing the RE Engine really excels at is their light probe network, which is what will be shining a light on today. First things first, let me introduce you to something called Global Illumination, or GI. It's the fancy game design term for a specific type of light you see. You might remember this from your elementary school science class. Hello, students! Today we're going to be discussing how light reflects off surfaces. So this is my flashlight. We can call it a light source or an emitter. This is Leon. When I turn this on, light hits Leon and reflects off of his surface to reach our eyes. Or in-game, our eyes would be the camera. And when it reaches our camera, that's how we see Leon. This is called direct illumination. Now, what kind of light then is global illumination? Let's look back at Leon. Remember, rays of light travel by reflecting off of surfaces. One ray of light bounces off Leon and goes straight to your eyes like earlier. Another ray of light might move like this. It reflects off Leon and it hits the tabletop. One reflects off this tabletop and reaches our eyes again. Look, the tabletop is reflecting Leon's blue sheen to us. Now, this light ray I just showed you, which reflected twice before reaching you, is global illumination, and it makes a huge difference in what you see. In real life, rays of light basically reflect off surfaces forever, but in games, we don't care about forever. If we did, our computers would explode trying to simulate this. But lucky for us, since light is absorbed a tiny bit every time it's reflected from a surface, we only need to care about the first few surfaces it reflects from when we're developing games. So, how do we make global illumination in games? There are 2 camps when it comes to making global illumination. One is static, which means the developers pre-make global illumination and it looks exactly the same forever. If Leon and the tabletop never move, then this blue sheen will always be there. This process, where they pre-make your visuals, is called baking. You can think of it like you're looking at a painting hanging on the wall on its own, a finished product. The second is dynamic, which means global illumination is generated in real time as you move. You can think of it like you have a blank canvas and the artist is literally painting it in front of you as you watch. Obviously, dynamic GI requires a lot more effort. In games, that would mean you have to consider computing power, memory, and speed. And to make Resident Evil look this scary, that takes a combination of both static and dynamic, but today's video will focus specifically on how they optimized for static GI. Light maps are the de facto method of generating static light in video games. They're a texture of what the light in a room looks like, including, of course, global illumination. A texture is like the paint on all of the objects in a game. This texture is pre-computed by developers and baked into the final setting, like I explained in our last video about peak. This means you see the baked version in your game, your already finished painting. It works great for objects that don't move. But what about objects that do move? Remember, light reflects everywhere. If I move Leon slightly, the blue sheen will also shift slightly. Now, when the devs at Capcom were building GI into the RE engine, they said, according to Google Translate,
以前はカプコンはグローバルイルミネーションにライトマップシステムをよく使用していたが、RE エンジンではそれが完全に廃止された。
So what did they replace the light map with?
仮プローブネットワーク、プローブネットワークを用いることで、これまで問題となった。
And now, like Toronto raccoons digging through bins on your street, we have finally made it to the meat of the video. Light probe networks! To begin, let me ask you a question. Have you ever taken a panorama or a 360-degree picture on your phone? If not, you can pause the video and try right now on your camera app. To get multiple POVs in the room, we would need to place a bunch of people in different locations in the room, then ask them to take 360-degree pictures on their phones. Following so far? Now, it's your turn. Let's say you're dropped randomly into this room, and your phone has no 360-degree picture of where you are. So, what do? Well, you just find the 3 or 4 people closest to you and merge their pictures together to get your point of view. That's it. All the people in the room with their panoramic pictures are light probes. And as you traverse the room, what you see is updated by mixing together the views of the people closest to you. These pictures are, you may have guessed, global illumination data. And of course, there's fancy math on how this light data is efficiently stored, but that's outside the scope of our elementary school science class. Here's a visualization of the light probe network, courtesy of the developers themselves. Each point connecting the shapes is a light probe. With this awesome method, the GI you see changes as you move because your view is continuously updated from different light probes. The magic is, all the super time-intensive and effortful work has already been done. All of these 360-degree pictures have already been made. It's been baked! And RE Engine's implementation of light probes saves 2/3 of your device memory and significantly reduces processing load on your CPU and GPU compared to light maps. Wow, that kind of sounded like an ad. This is not sponsored, by the way. Of course, light probes are just one key part of the whole lighting pipeline, but to keep this video bite-sized and yummy, we're not going to go into dynamic GI today. Dynamic GI is still very much an evolving field and super duper exciting. For you keeners out there, I've linked all my research resources in the description. And also, let me know what other games you want me to break down. Oh, Leon, if only global illumination could bring you to life.